KQ never intended to take on any new trainees, filed a lawsuit against their company. Oh, pardon me, I'm just sipping my... Someone tell me why this company doesn't have their own English Wikipedia page. I really had to dig for this one, but they do have a really interesting history. Now, technically, this company was established in 2016, but there is some important context here. It all started in 2011 when Block B debuted under Stardom Entertainment with Cho PD's Creating Korea's Eminem project. Now, this show had a budget investment of $1.4 million. That's a lot of money. Zico was the leader of this group. They were giving more of a hip-hop vibe that was pretty trendy during the time. Fun fact, their official debut music video got banned twice by the Commission of Youth Protection because it was too sexy for TV. So the album couldn't be sold to minors and they couldn't broadcast it on television before 10 p.m. But it wasn't even the visuals of the video. It all had to do with the lyrics. Send all your friends home. I'm waiting for you right here. Fans thought this was sus because it wasn't really that suggestive. But how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. Now in 2013 was when the tea was piping hot. Block B filed a lawsuit against their company to end their contract under the claims that they weren't getting paid. I'm not gonna go super deep into this because it's a whole nother beast, but I will provide some links in the description. After this whole clown fiesta, they yeeted themselves to 7 Seasons Entertainment. So the founder Kim Gyuk started this company just for them. And in 2016, 7 Seasons Entertainment became a sub-label under KQ Entertainment. An artist named Babylon joined under the other sub-label called KQ Produce, which housed a lot of their producers and singer-songwriters. Some examples are Lucy, HLB, and Score. 2017 is when Eden debuted, who is an urban music artist, who's also produced for groups like Ateez, B2B, and 101. Now they seem to be more established as a producer rather than being an artist. Now we all know that with every boy group comes the biggest hurdle, enlistment.
Any last words, Chrissy?
In 2018, Block B halted all of their group activities because they started going off into the military one by one. The rest of the members who weren't enlisted in the army yet all tried to pursue solo careers. But unfortunately, we all know that they aren't always successful. Personally, I didn't really fall under the hype of Block B because it seemed like other 1.5/2 gen artists were drowning them out of the mainstream. Now, it's pretty evident that Zico was probably the most popular. He eventually went on to start his own entertainment company, KOZ, in 2019. It's really interesting because he is definitely an icon. He's on so many commercials and advertisements, and he is very respected in the industry. Of course, there are always members who didn't really find what they were getting from the company or wanted to pursue other things, such as PO, who left in 2021. Here it is. I honestly don't know why they have their logo plastered on 3 separate times. I'm sorry, but it's not really an attractive logo. At least Ateez is really making them big bucks. I wonder when these companies buy these buildings, do they just like also pay to build a convenience store? Or do they choose buildings specifically that have these convenience stores? What is the agreement here? I came all the way back because I realized that was the wrong building. That was the old building. So now we are in front of the real building. You can't really see, there's not any signs, but 지하 1층인 것 같은데 I'm pretty sure it is here. There is a local GS. Now backtracking a little to 2018 is when Ateez debuted. What's interesting is that KQ never intended to take on any new trainees or debut new groups. So how did Ateez come to be? A KQ employee happened to stumble upon a sample mixtape along with a letter from a teenager who was inspired by Block B to become an idol. This interaction is what eventually led the company to take on their first ever trainee, who's now known as Ateez's leader, Kim Hong-jung. KQ Entertainment slowly started collecting trainees from other companies such as Maru, Top Media, and Big Hit. You know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. While they were still training together, they were known as KQ Fellas. All the members of KQ Fellas trained at Millennium Dance Complex in LA, and they became the first ever group to debut with KQ. Ateez debuted during a time that was really difficult for KQ, but they were still able to do extremely well. Arguably, they helped KQ get their name out there in the industry despite not being from a major entertainment company. Now, I'm not an Ateez fan, but I see them getting thirsted all over TikTok and Instagram. So they're doing something right. Just the fact that they basically single-handedly carried KQ Entertainment after Block B became inactive and also reached global stardom, someone cooked here. In 2019 is when Maddox debuted, another singer-songwriter with an R&B vibe and whose voice you can literally use as a pillow. The last and most recent debut was Xikers in 2023. They combined X, which stands for coordinates, and the word hikers to make the meaning, boys who travel through time and space in search of coordinates. Can we just drop the trend of trying way too hard to make some kind of deep and profound meaning out of these group names? Cause the math ain't mathin'. It's giving doing a college essay that has a minimum of 1,000 words, but you pretty much said everything after the first 100 characters. But we have some familiar faces in this group. Yechan is actually from a survival program called Under 19, and I'm sure you know a lot of other current artists in the industry were also on this program. Taeyeon and Hunter are both from Pledis Entertainment. While this group was still training, they were known as KQ Fellas too. So I wonder if they try to make some kind of connection as maybe this is the group that will eventually take over Ateez, or if there's just kind of a metaverse weird thing relationship. They also had their own web series called Ready One, which showed them training in LA. And maybe since Ateez helped the KQ budget, Xikers had their own reality show called The Player K-pop Quest. Their vibe is giving bandy rock elements sprinkled in with some 2015's era vibes. It's pretty consistent with the kind of vibe that Ateez is going for, but also a fresh take. I also want to note that they have their own official website, while the other artists under KQ Entertainment don't. From my personal perspective, a lot of KQ artists are either more R&B focused, or they give off more of a modernized second-gen vibe. Regardless, they seem to have their own unique color and have proven that they can stand out in the industry. Now, from what I heard, KQ gives a lot of freedom to their artists. Apparently, Ateez is free to drink, date other people, some of them have tattoos, and the company buys them gifts for their birthdays. So maybe the company culture is related to their success. What are your thoughts on KQ Entertainment's history and artists? What company would you like me to talk about next? Feel free to leave your suggestions down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.